You know that one person, the one who's just a master of the silent treatment. Like, you walk in feeling yourself and you're like, "Hey, what do you think of my new outfit? Pretty slick, right?" And they don't even look up from their phone, not a glance. Or maybe you're venting, "Ugh, you would not believe the day I've had, just a total disaster." And all you get back is this blank stare. Like they're just watching a cloud drift by outside the window. And the classic, "Oh no, it's pouring. I don't have an umbrella." And in response, you just hear the zip of their jacket as they head for the door. Not a word. I know, it's infuriating, right? You're probably thinking the same thing I do. What's their deal? Just playing it cool? Too lazy to even bother? It can make you feel so small. Their silence is like this cold, damp wall that just blocks everything you throw at it. Your excitement, your frustration, your panic. It leaves you feeling like a performer on stage whose mic just got cut, just standing there, wanting the ground to swallow you whole. But what if I told you that inside that frustrating, ice-cold silence, there's a hidden superpower? A core secret that most of us are desperately searching for, a key that could help you break free from all the emotional drama and finally put you in the driver's seat. Would that change how you see them? Or maybe how you see yourself? That superpower, that unsettling calm, it has a name. Have you ever truly felt it? A profound, almost unnerving power that comes from a place of deep stillness. A quiet that roars louder than any shout. This is the divine frequency of nonchalance, sacred armor, misunderstood by the masses, yet wielded by the true architects of destiny. Think about our world. It's utterly obsessed with the noise of constant reaction. Every fleeting opinion is amplified. Every emotional ripple becomes a tidal wave. But in the middle of that storm, there lies a hidden sanctuary of immense power. A power found not in aggression, but in restraint, not in shouting, but in the profound echo of silence. And this isn't some new age philosophy. It's an ancient, dangerous truth, whispered by none other than Machiavelli, a master of the shadowy corridors of power. Never was anything great achieved without danger. And today, we will decode the greatest danger to the weak and the most potent weapon for the awakened, the art of divine nonchalance. Now, if this frequency is already resonating with your soul, let the universe know. Press like to amplify this energy and subscribe to awaken further. Because we must first shatter a pervasive illusion. To be nonchalant is not to be empty. It is not to care less. That is the hollow, vacant state of apathia, spiritual void. Divine nonchalance is the very opposite. It is to care with such precision, with such focused, laser-like intensity, that you refuse to squander your sacred energy on that which does not serve your ultimate purpose. It is the conscious, divine choice to care selectively. In this chaotic world, your intentions, your deepest desires, your divine blueprint are sacred. To broadcast them indiscriminately is to invite the chaotic, manipulative energies of others to interfere. The nonchalant soul remains unreadable, an enigma. Machiavelli understood that appearances are not mere trifles, they are weapons. He taught that the true leader must project an aura of unshakable composure, especially when the tempests of chaos rage around him. Why? Because the moment others sense your desperation, the moment they detect a tremor of need in your voice or a flicker of hunger in your eyes, you become a puppet, and they, your puppeteers. They will pull your strings with the very things you crave. But when they look at you and see no thing, no desperation, no need, no urgency, they are left utterly disarmed. What they cannot grasp, they cannot manipulate. And what they cannot manipulate, they begin to fear. That which is unreadable becomes a source of dangerous, magnetic power. The awakened soul holds his power in the sacred space of silence. He doesn't feel the neurotic need to fill every moment with noise, explanations, or justifications. He speaks with a divine economy. While others shout to be heard, his quiet words land with the force of a thunderclap, precisely because they are rare, because they are true. He acts with a chilling calculation, not the cold calculation of a machine, but the wise, strategic movement of a grandmaster. This is not about being uncaring. It's about caring so deeply about your own path that you refuse to be derailed by the trivial dramas of the world. This is absolute control. It is dominance so pure and self-contained that it is disguised as serene disinterest. This is a weapon that few understand and even fewer can wield. If you are ready to claim this power, to anchor this truth within your being, type, "I am the calm," in the comments below. Because to cultivate this divine nonchalance, you must understand its source. It is born from a mastery over feeling. Machiavelli knew that to truly rule, one must wear a mask of placid calm, while the mind is a whirlwind of strategy. It is the conscious decision to remain unreadable, to keep your inner world protected. Once others see your desperation, once they smell your fear, they will use your needs against you. But when they see nothing, no hunger in your eyes, no urgency on your face, no panic in your words, they are disarmed. They cannot define you. And what cannot be defined becomes a source of immense gravitational power. The man who has mastered this art holds his power in the cathedral of his own silence. He is disciplined, he is deliberate. While others are tossed about by the winds of every slight, every rumor, he remains still. Not because he is passive, but because he is watching, judging, and waiting. There is a terrifying strength in becoming the question that lingers in their minds. Why doesn't he react? Why doesn't he chase? Why doesn't he seem to care? Their confusion is your advantage. Their obsessive curiosity is your instrument of control. The moment you stop reaching, you begin to draw others in. The world, by its very nature, moves toward mystery. This is the divine art of showing nothing while feeling everything, of thinking with the depth of a philosopher while appearing as detached as a distant star. When you are truly nonchalant, you dictate the emotional climate of any room you enter. Others must guess, they must decipher, they must play your game, while believing it is their own. And by the time they realize their error, their cards are already on the table, exposed and vulnerable, while yours remain hidden. This is psychological warfare at its most refined. The one who seems to need nothing often controls everything. Your detachment creates a powerful pursuit in others. Your silence creates an unbearable tension. Your calm creates an undeniable authority. But understand this calm is not a gift. It is forged. It is trained through rigorous discipline, creating a sacred pause between stimulus and response. It is learning to delay, to observe, to build a distance between your inner world and your outward expression. You do not confuse urgency with action. You do not confuse visibility with influence. You move only when it truly matters. You cannot beg for respect. It must be commanded. You cannot plead for attention. It must be earned through presence. The man who is truly confident appears to care less, even when he cares with the fire of 1,000 suns, because he understands that emotion is a sacred currency, spent only with the precision of a master. The world respects what it cannot understand. It bows to what it cannot predict. It yields to what it cannot dominate. The nonchalant man is the ghost in the room of noise, the one who reveals nothing, yet sees everything, and in a world screaming to be heard, the one who says the least commands the most. If this idea challenges the very way you see confidence and power, leave a comment below. Tell me how you've seen this divine nonchalance play out in your own life. And if you want to go deeper, to journey into the minds of history's most disciplined and powerful thinkers, my book, Guided by the Greats, is your path to unshakable composure and lasting clarity. The link is in the pinned comment and the video description. Now, let's journey further. True nonchalance is not arrogance that's just a loud cry for validation. It is born from the bedrock of clarity, a soul that has done the deep, often painful work of seeing the world as it truly is. The man who sees clearly has no need for frantic reaction. He has already calculated the outcome, accepted what can be controlled, and gracefully discarded what cannot. With no raging internal chaos to manage, his external world remains preternaturally still. He becomes untouchable, not because nothing affects him, but because he refuses to be seen flinching. Most people wear their insecurities like a tattered coat, a constant, visible signal of their inner turmoil. They overshare, they laugh too loudly, they seek validation from others before they've even found it in themselves. The nonchalant man moves on a different vibrational plane. He stands as though he belongs, because in the sanctuary of his own mind, he has already decided that he does. This profound composure is unnerving. It threatens the frantic. It exposes the insecure. Because while others are desperately trying to prove their worth, he proves nothing. He simply's. This is not weakness. It is patience with teeth. It's a strategic detachment that says, I am not threatened by what you do. I am not compelled to prove anything. I am not afraid to let silence speak for me. In every interaction, there is one man who does not compete. He doesn't chase every fleeting opportunity. He doesn't offer his opinion unless it is worth more than the silence it replaces. That man owns the room, not because he is the loudest, but because his energy is rare and precious. His presence doesn't beg, it commands. In the end, those who are truly confident don't need the world's permission. They don't perform their power. They simply carry it, quietly. And when that kind of power walks into a room, everyone notices. Nonchalance is not built on ego, it's built on mastery. The mastery of timing, of presence, of expression. It is the divine ability to be fully engaged while appearing perfectly detached. And that illusion, the illusion of not needing anything, creates a powerful gravity. People move toward what moves away from them. They obsess over what ignores them. They submit to what does not beg. This is the great paradox of power. The less you reveal, the more people imagine. The less you pursue, the more they chase. The less you speak, the more weight your words carry. The nonchalant man is silent because most things are not worth saying. He waits, he appears when it counts, and when he does, people pay attention. The appearance of indifference is far more powerful than true indifference. A man who truly feels nothing is numb, a form of weakness. But a man who feels everything and filters it with the unshakable sieve of discipline is untouchable. He can sit across from chaos and still choose silence. To be nonchalant is to say with every fiber of your being, I decide what matters. I decide what enters my world. I decide when I speak and when I do not. That is the true root of confidence. Watch how people panic in the face of silence. How they scramble to fill it, confess too much, try too hard, and give away the game, all because they can't stand not knowing what you're thinking. That is the leverage nonchalance creates. You say nothing, and they reveal everything. This isn't about playing games. It's about controlling emotional and psychological space. If someone angers you and you remain calm, they lose control. If someone insults you and you remain unaffected, they become uncomfortable. If someone resists you and you do not chase, they begin to question themselves. This is how true power is built, not through loud domination, but through quiet, unyielding discipline. The man who doesn't flinch has spent years training that stillness. He has learned the profound difference between reaction and response. Reaction is cheap, instinctual. Response is rare, strategic. The nonchalant man lives in the realm of response. He knows what he wants, but he is not desperate. He knows who he is, so he does not perform. He knows what he brings, so he does not sell himself. And this quiet certainty radiates. It is felt, not heard. You must learn to sit with the tension of being misunderstood, to keep your plan to yourself even when your ego screams for applause. That is the cost of power, the price of poise, the discipline of nonchalance. There will be moments when you want to react, when silence feels like weakness. But remember, most people are ruled by impulse. They act quickly, emotionally, loudly. And that noise is what buries them. It's what makes them predictable, vulnerable, replaceable. The man who is nonchalant is never forgotten. His calm is rare. His stillness feels unnatural. His restraint feels dominant. People don't forget how you made them feel. And being around someone who does not react, does not chase, does not need, makes them curious, drawn in, engaged. This is how you shift the frameno by fighting for it, but by refusing to be moved. You become the standard, a presence that doesn't seek validation, a mind that does not blink, a spirit that waits, watches, and acts only when the outcome is already decided. When you are truly powerful, your silence becomes a weapon. You let others exhaust themselves. And when the dust settles, you are still standing calm, clear, unshaken. You become magnetic, not by demanding attention, but by mastering your presence. Nonchalance walks that line perfectly. It inspires respect without needing affection. It holds power without needing volume, because power built on mystery is infinitely more durable than power built on noise. The nonchalant man does not waste himself. Every expression, every gesture, every moment of attention is measured, and that makes his presence feel sacred. People crave certainty, and the nonchalant man provides it through his unshakable stillness. He lets his actions speak and his silence echo, and in that quiet confidence, others find a strange stability. You must learn to become the eye of the storm. Every time you resist the urge to speak, you gain control. Every time you walk away without responding, you grow in strength. Most people are slaves to emotion. The nonchalant man rules over his instincts. That is why he commands the room, because he first commands himself. Even in the most intimate relationships, nonchalance is emotional sovereignty, the ability to care without clinging, to love without losing yourself, to be fully present without being fully exposed. When you hold your center, you create a depth that draws others closer, not because you chase them, but because you don't. There is a profound beauty in being whole before anyone arrives. The nonchalant man is not unkind, he is simply unshaken. His peace is a state of being, earned through quiet, unseen battles with the self. And that inner victory can never be stolen. Sometimes, the boldest thing a man can do is refuse to be provoked, refuse to be baited. The test is not how loud you can fight. The test is whether you can walk through it all, silent and unmoved. That is what makes you rare. Not the noise you make, but the calm you keep. Not the approval you chase, but the gravity you carry. You do not become nonchalant by accident. You become it by design, with patience, with pain, with purpose. Power is quiet. Real power moves without sound. It doesn't seek applause. It simply exists, immovable, deliberate, undeniable. That is the essence of nonchalance. Not pretending not to care, but being so rooted in self-mastery that the world cannot shake you. It is the presence of control, the ability to feel pressure without rushing. The nonchalant man isn't void of feeling. He's overflowing with discipline, and discipline is the highest form of self-respect.